Welcome back, everybody. It is the return. It has been a long time since our last podcast, almost an entire month, but we are back. We are back to discuss, the free hit, the double game weeks are on the way. So yeah, let's get straight into it.
Right, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, guys. Uh, Lucian here, as usual. I'm joined by Keith as well as Justin. Justin, how are you?
I'm doing good. We're straight off a nice 2-0 Arsenal FA Cup win, making it 4 in a row. Australia doing good in the cricket. What else? Already back to uni, even though it's January, so that's always fun. And just
Already.
and just loving FPL at the moment. So much action, so many teams playing. That's what I just love in my football league. Is just when teams can play each other. So it's all going good.
Cool. Okay, so first things first, a quick catch up on what has happened over the last month. So people who have been shitting on the podcast panel, you guys better look over your shoulders because we have had quite a few people with rank jumps. So Todd, who we shall expect to see soon. Would you believe that the last pod was made before game week 12? So before game week 12, Todd was ranked 1.7 million. Guess where he's at now?
1.2 million.
Keith?
So 1 point.
Where is he?
700k.
Oh, it's better.
He was actually 600 plus k at one point, and yeah, he's doing great. 1 million places in a month, just like that. Like all these game weeks.
Nice.
Okay, so Justin, have you been keeping track of your overall rank?
No, because I feel like it's on a downward trajectory. I don't have the stats.
Okay. So before game week 12, you were on 1.4. Where do you think you are now?
1.1?
Keith?
I think he's higher than Todd. So I think he's like 650, 500.
Nah.
Yeah, Justin had some road bumps. So he's on 1.2 now. That last game week really killed you there. But 1.2 is still okay. At least it's green arrow. Green arrow over the last month. Okay, so where's Fionn? Fionn was on 2.1 million before 12. So where do you guys think he's at now?
Right, 2.1. I'll give him a 1.5.
Keith?
Yeah, I'll give him a 1.4.
Yeah. He's the only one that maintained his rank. He's still at 2.1, unfortunately. Okay. That wildcard did not do him any favors.
Yeah.
Yeah. It stopped the bleeding for a few of his players, but yeah, it only got him back to where he started.
Yeah, he misled me. He thought that Saeed Ben Rama was a good pick.
I still think he's a good pick. I think it's just unfortunate, but we'll let Fionn justify that later on. Okay. Keith, do you remember where you were at game week 12?
I chose not to look at my rank at that point.
So you were at 4.8 before 12.
Yeah. Nice.
And you sank to 5.1 at 13. Where do you think you are at? Where do you think you are now?
Well, I know where I am now, so you can probably just tell everyone.
Okay, Justin, what do you think?
I think you've cracked 2 million.
He'll get there. Give it another month, he'll get there. He's at 4.1 right now.
Generous.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, yeah, I think we'll see that happen soon. Okay, as for myself, before 12, I was on 2.9.
Did you say where I was?
You're on 4.1 now.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's like 100K.
I'm optimistic. Speaking of the climber himself, Mr. Overachiever.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Overachiever. Hello, Todd. How are you? Is he there yet? Is his webcam working? Todd.
There he is.
Will. Where is he? I don't see him. Oh, he's still connecting the audio. Connecting to. Okay.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, we've got 4 Sheffield strikers now. We're talking about how the panel's doing, how the panel did over the last month. So we're comparing old against new ranks, and you're the only overachiever so far.
Oh, let's call it what it is. Achievement, but skill. Let's not say overachievement right now, because that implies that I've been lucky. Overperforming my XG.
Like we guessed what rank we thought you were at, and you performed beyond our expectations.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty good month actually. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
just
as for
last week
myself,
was the only red.
Yeah.
So before 12, I was on 2.9 million. So you guys can guess where I'm at now.
I think you're at 2.2, 2.3.
Justin?
Oh, you've cracked 2.
Do you want to guess exactly where?
I'll put you exact 1.999999.
Okay. Todd?
How many hits have you been taking? It's pretty crucial.
Let's see. Since game week 12, so before 12, I took a 4. 13, I took a 4. 14, I took a 4. 16, I took a 4.
I think you're probably still, I don't know, like 1.8 million.
Wow.
Obviously.
Wow. You guys rate me quite highly. I am on 1.4.
Ooh.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
With all those hits.
Yes. No, the trick is that I'm hitting for 4 instead of 8. The moment I stopped hitting for 8, green arrows non-stop.
Imagine that.
Yeah. All I needed was to take 1 less hit each week.
Kamikaze pilot.
Yeah. So, okay, quick survey. Is everyone here on a free hit this week?
I'm gonna have to.
FPL, I've been so busy, which probably isn't great. But I mean, do you know what? I just see all these games getting cancelled. I'm like, what's the point of putting in effort when my team's going to end up having to change?
Fair. So you've not activated anything yet, Justin?
No. I have 2 free transfers banked as well, which I haven't used.
How many players would you have if you didn't use the free hit?
I'm not sure. I think I can get an 11 if I use my transfers, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, if you can get 11, even if you have that Spurs game cancelled, you'll probably be down to 8 or 9. So that's worst case scenario, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't free hit that. I'd ride it through and maybe even free hit the week after for a big double game week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Todd, are you on free hit?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to be honest. My team is basically it's Son, Grealish, Martinez who are at risk. But I wouldn't really want Martinez and Grealish on a free hit anyway. And then I've got Bruno playing, Kilman, and Brewster.
Oh.
It's a bit stinky, to be honest. So it's, I mean, realistically, there's a chance that could just be Bruno starting.
Yeah.
So I think unless the league's cancelled or postponed, then I've got to free hit. And I think maybe there'll be a better time down the line, but my team would probably look like one player the same, 10 different. So I think that's basically what you want from a free hit.
Okay. And Keats, you're on a free hit, right?
Yeah, I'm on free hit, but that's out of. Mine's an interesting one because I actually had 8 players playing, but I wasn't happy with the players I had. Like, for example, I had Lewis Dunk, who plays Man City. I had Tyrick Mitchell, who's playing Arsenal. Just the wrong ends of those kind of fixtures. Like, you want the Man City and Arsenal players, not the Crystal Palace and the Brighton players. So I kind of wanted to just change it up and get some decent players in because I wasn't happy with those. There's no point not free hitting if it's going to end up getting me 0 points from a defender or 1 point from a defender. I might as well use it.
Okay, that's good. That's great. All right. So let's help Justin out. Free hit. So we are looking at 6 games, right? Possibly 7 at the moment. Yeah, we're looking at 6 games, possibly 5 if this first game gets postponed. So, all right. I think at this stage, first things first, let's talk about players that we will all likely have. Let's get that easy stuff out of the way. So Bruno Fernandes, right? Everyone's got that in?
Yes,
yeah, that's definitely a lock. Yeah. Okay. Spurs, Son and Kane. Is everyone here rolling with both?
I am at the moment. But
at the moment.
I guess if we
something.
don't know for sure whether the game's on, that could change.
Yeah, but like if it's on, like if there's no news, both, right? Okay, so now let's do the easy fixture first. Man City, Brighton. 3 or 2 players, in your opinion?
3.
I have 3.
3. Okay.
That's because Basuma is suspended and he's such a big way of how they play.
Okay, so
you can romp them
2 attackers, 1 defender, or 2 defenders, 1 attacker?
I'm on 2 defenders at the moment purely because it's an easy way to get triple City, and then you can afford Son, Kane, and Bruno, and also, for example, Rashford or Lacazette or someone like that alongside. But if the Spurs game was off, I'd go 2 attackers.
Yeah,
I'd probably go Sterling and De Bruyne or something like that.
Yeah, at the moment I have Sterling, De Bruyne, and John Stones.
Okay, Justin, what do you think? Like, theoretically, if like gun to your head, you were to pick 3 Man City players right now, who would you pick?
Oh, out of the Man City players, probably. I mean, you got to go De Bruyne. I think Sterling's so much money. It's rough. I don't know if I would. I'll just say De Bruyne. I'd say maybe a defender if you're feeling it.
Who would you go for a defense? Like, would you go for a Cancelo or Diaz?
I think just Diaz is the safest. Just guaranteed to start.
Yeah, I think long term, he looks like he's going to play every game, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the next one, Newcastle. 2. No, wait. I think let's just throw it out to the floor. How many players do you have in your squad at the moment from Newcastle? I've got 2.
Actually, no, I have 3. That's not what. I'll let you know why I have 3.
Yeah, Keith, you can go first. Why 3?
So my 3 is I have Callum Wilson. That's 1, and my 2 are Darlow and Dubravka. Just to cover my ass there.
Yeah, I saw a quote from Steve Bruce recently, and he said that the spot is Darlow's to lose. So I think
he's playing really well.
Immediately.
So I think Darlow is safe for now, but I just just in case it does pull a last minute switch or Darlow gets COVID last minute, who knows?
Is there an outbreak in Newcastle?
There was
no, right?
a week ago, but not like anything recently.
But Burnley have cases, don't they?
Yeah, Burnley and Aston Villa are the main ones now, and Fulham still.
Okay. Todd, how many Newcastle?
So in my full team, I've got 3 because I've got my first bench is a Newcastle defender, but at the moment I've got Wilson and Darlow in my draft.
Okay.
Sheffield are rubbish.
7 games in a row. I don't know how hot I'm feeling on Newcastle at the moment.
Yeah.
They played
Yeah, no, it's purely for the Sheffield United fixture.
It's more about Sheffield United than Newcastle. I mean, I'm just thinking Sheffield United are bad. I don't think we're going to disagree with that. They struggle to score goals. Darlow's a decent keeper. That's my logic there. And if Newcastle are going to score, and Sheffield United have lost every game bar 2 so far, so therefore they're probably going to. Chances are they're going to lose this one, and if they're going to lose, they're going to have to concede a goal. And if they're going to concede a goal, if it's going to be anyone, it's going to be Callum Wilson. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I have to agree with everything Todd just said.
Yeah, such a shame. Okay, so Justin, what do you think? Like, just off the top of the fixture, are you considering anyone else? I know there's a 4.3 Andre Yetlin hanging around. He started a few games in a row now.
So bad though.
Nah,
Yeah, he's bad, but he's like 6 points is 6 points, right? You take that any day.
I don't think I would be looking at them at the moment, to be honest.
Okay,
Purely
cool.
free hit, isn't it? I wouldn't bring in any of them for my normal team.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, now let's move on to the interesting fixture. Wolves, nah, I'm just joking. Okay, Arsenal Palace, so many options. I think there are like 6 players that a lot of people are talking about in my FPL circles. So you had last week's heroes, Tierney, Holding, Saka, Lacazette. That's 4 names already. Emil Smith-Rowe just made his case like half an hour ago. And I don't think anyone's talking about Aubameyang, but the 6th name I want to bring up is Leno, because he's slightly cheaper than Dubravka. Probably a cheaper way.
That's mad, by the way. I stand by that. How is Leno cheaper than Darlow and Dubravka? Stop it.
Because it's not our fault the Newcastle keepers are expensive. But yeah. 6. I've got 6 names here. So we'll ask the Arsenal fans last. So me and Todd, we'll go first. Todd, who are your how many Arsenal players?
I've got 2 at the moment. If I could, I'd like to have 3, because I'd like to have Lacazette actually, because I think honestly he feels like the perfect free hit player, because he's found a patch of form. Long term, I wouldn't want him because he could just as easily, miss a barn door for a month, or not even he might not start. You don't know down the line if he'll consistently start. But I feel like he's going to start the Palace game. I feel like strikers have been doing well against Palace FPL wise. At home, found a bit of form actually at last Arsenal. The last time we were here, it was all a bit doom and gloom around Arsenal. But is it three wins in a row?
Four in a row now,
4?
including that last win,
including the cup. Okay, 4.
Yeah.
Nice bit of form generating there. There's something there, but I think mainly I'm going for probably a defender, because I think Palace at home is a really nice fixture, and I think Arsenal, I guess I say, they're finding a bit of form, and I like the look of Saka for his price. It just seems like a great way to fund the other lads. As you say, I've got absolutely, if anything, negative interest in Aubameyang at his price. It's just, I don't know how I'd fit him. Are you going to drop De Bruyne for Aubameyang or Kane? You just not this season. Which is not something I thought I'd be saying at the start of the season, but here we are.
Okay, so which defender are you looking at?
It's got to be Tierney for me. Man's a lad. So good.
Yeah. He assisted Aubameyang just now as well.
He was a bit reactionary on the basis of his banger last week, but
5 chances tonight, which was most on the pitch.
Yeah, he's really good.
Because he's not playing left centre back anymore. He's actually playing just left back, so he can get forward.
Okay, so as for myself, I'm on 3. I'm on 3 at the moment. So I've got Tierney. No, sorry, not Tierney. I'm on Holding, Leno, and Saka at the moment. Because I've gone for the cheaper players, because my fourth midfielder, I've gone Sterling and De Bruyne in midfield. So I'm still contemplating that one. I might switch to 3-4-3, have Lacazette up front so that I can afford Tierney at the back instead. So I'm still in the air about that. But at the moment, as it stands, I'm just having cheap Arsenal players just so I can afford Sterling in midfield. Yeah, but it's painful.
I would be wary of having two Arsenal defenders, especially going with Tierney and Leno. Not Tierney, I'm Holding and Leno. Like if you're going with Tierney, I can understand, but we historically do not keep clean sheets against Crystal Palace. They're the one team we always concede against.
Okay. Yeah, the frightening thought of Christian Benteke. All right, Keats, your goal. Give us the lowdown.
Yeah, so you say that Smith Rowe made his case half an hour ago. Well, he was actually in my team well before that. So yeah, pretty much as soon as I clicked activate free hit, he was in there. He was my fifth mid. Whether I end up starting him or not, that'll depend on whether I go with 3 forwards or 2 forwards. But yeah, he's in there for his price. Can't get much better. 4.4, getting assists. He's looking brilliant, by the way. And he scored today as well. So yeah, he's in there for me, 100%, locked and loaded. As for the other two, Kieran Tierney, 100%, absolutely love the guy. And then Lacazette will be in there if I'm sort of deciding whether to go with 2 strikers or 3 strikers. But if obviously Tottenham game is called off, then Kane becomes Lacazette easy as you like. If it's still on, then I have a decision to make whether to go with 2 or 3. So yeah.
Yep. If that Spurs game's off, Lacazette's locked in my team.
Yeah, must have. Yeah.
Probably Sterling too.
Ooh. How would you get both? Okay, Justin. In theory, who would you get? Like right now, after watching that.
Yeah, definitely looking at Tierney. And it's funny because Bellerin's actually been quite attacking too. But the thing about Bellerin is that he picks up a lot of yellow cards. I think he has the most yellow cards for Arsenal. So probably not someone you want to be, like if it's a 50-50, you'd be going Tierney over him. Yeah, and I think either of Smith Rowe or Saka or both, just smart choices just because they're so cheap and they just look so attacking. I think Smith Rowe's been unlucky not to get more returns, honestly. Like he's been doing good, but he could have gone even more. And then Lacazette's in form. Lacazette feels like a bit of a trap, but sometimes the traps are actually not traps. Good players.
Well, just on Bellerin, for instance, I think the case with him now is that because of the hype around him earlier in the season, where he was still relatively cheaper than the rest, cheaper than Tierney, cheaper than Gabriel, those kind of guys. There was a lot of hype around him earlier, so people were buying him and bringing him in. Now his price has risen to the point where it's almost parallel to Tierney's. So it makes little sense to get him over Tierney, which sort of sucks from our point of view. Because I'd rather my opponents get Bellerin and let me have Tierney. So, but it looks like everyone's going with Tierney now. So it's kind of a moot point now.
Okay, so the only question I have is who poses as a threat to ESR's position?
No one, literally no one. This is the problem. No one can play.
So he's the only number 10 in there?
I mean, Ceballos could start there if Partey's fit, and Ceballos could start ahead, but I don't think that's what will happen.
So no threat of like Willian or Nicola Pepe or Reece Nelson?
Willian has just put in the worst performance. Smith Rowe came on and he basically just like put Willian into retirement. It was the most incredible Willian looked like he couldn't run. Like, I think I can run better than Willian can.
Okay.
Yeah, right. And then you see Smith Rowe, and he literally just passes the ball and runs. That's all he does. It's so good. So I would not be worried about Willian. Wouldn't be worried about Pepe, to be honest. You'd be worried about like Martinelli if he didn't just roll his ankle. I think he'll be fine, but he'll be out for 3 months. But otherwise, yeah, there's no one else that really plays in his spot, so he's pretty safe.
Okay, so the 3 attacking mids behind. Sorry, the 3.
Can I interject? If by some miracle we do sign, like Julia Brandt or any Buendia in the coming days, he would be in competition with. That's all I was saying. But until that happens, Smith is good to go.
Okay, so as it stands, in midfield, right behind Lacazette, the 3 would be ESR. Is it Pepe?
Saka and
ESR, Saka.
Saka.
Okay. Any case to be made for Maitland-Niles?
It's hard to tell whether he'll start or not.
No, Maitland-Niles won't be. He can't even get. He got on in like the 105th, 115th minute of the FA Cup. I'm not worried about him starting. If anything, it's concerning is not starting, but that's another talk for another time.
Okay. Man United are 1-up against Watford, by the way. Alex Telles assist. Anyway, never mind. Now, who else have we got? Okay, so I'm not even going to bring up Wolves Everton because nobody knows who's going to score there. So let's talk composition, right? We've got 5 games that we're really concerned about. And out of the 5 games, we can basically make either 11 or 12 players if I don't know. Oh yeah, last question before we talk about composition. If you guys were to put ESR into your team, is he going to be your first sub or your 7th attacker?
That's what I was saying earlier. How if I go with 3 forwards, Kane, Lacazette, and Wilson, ESR will be my first sub. But if I go with 2, then he'll be my 5th mid. So yeah, my 7th attacker. That's what I was saying earlier.
Justin, what do you think?
I can't. It's too hard to tell.
I would like to start him against Palace. I think he could be, a good chance of getting points. But I wouldn't start him over someone like Wilson or Lacazette or Kane. That's just what I'm saying.
Cool. Todd, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess it depends on the strength of the rest of your squad. If you've got that cheap midfielder, then presumably the rest of your squad's pretty strong. So it might be hard to fit him in, but it's one of those where I wouldn't mind starting him and I wouldn't mind having him first bench. Certainly wouldn't. Mind you, he's very cheap, but I wouldn't have him third bench because I probably would have at least one complete bargain basement defender just to, free up value. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, I almost overlooked the Man United Burnley game, but yeah, quick question to ask then. Is anyone considering a Man United defender or Marcus Rashford or Anthony Martial?
Well, Manchester United haven't kept an away clean sheet yet this season. So, something to consider there. And because at the moment I'm going double City defence, and I like Tierney, it's unlikely that I'll get a Man United defender. Bruno, I think, obviously, is everyone's team.
The only one I'm sort of looking at now is Luke Shaw. That's only because Taylor's is starting tonight.
Yeah, you should start the league game. I mean, he's played well recently as well, so he should start the league game. But other than Bruno, Rashford tempts me a bit. Martial I thought he was horrible against Man City in the cup, but a lot of strikers can have horrible games against Man City. And yeah, I don't think Rashford got any points in their last league game, but I thought he looked really lively, and he's scored four goals in his last 6. You know, I don't know what to expect really from him, and it kind of feels similar sort of level, 1 week punt to Lacazette maybe. I don't know.
I mean, at the end of the day, if the Tottenham game is called off, he's a straight swap from Son to Rashford. So
yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens in that game. In a way, I hope it is cancelled because it would mean that my free hit is even more valuable, having lost 3 of my only 5 players that are worth anything.
Pretty much exactly. I was saying this to Lucy before we went on air that, you know, people who aren't free hitting, I would assume would already have, you know, 3 Tottenham players with Kane, Son, and let's say Reguilon or someone.
Likely to have at least 1 Villa player as well.
Yeah, and you know, you've probably got Grealish and Martinez as well. So if that game gets called off, it basically forces their hand a bit. Or if they get not going to free hit, then well, they fall behind. Simple.
I think I don't know if a good case or bad case would be if Villa had to play the game, but like used like under 23s or whatever, a la Derby County today. Sorry, a la Villa in their cup game even. Never mind those. The trick, the one that's really going to frustrate me is if we don't know for sure exactly what's going on by the deadline, because the game's the next day. And I remember Spurs were still waiting to find out whether their game against Fulham was going to happen like 2 hours before kickoff.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we're in that sort of situation, well, I mean, what do you do? I don't know.
It's sort of as if you kind of you can't go with your bargain basement bench. You have to get a strong bench in case that happens.
Yeah.
So what's
you'd have to have bench? 2.
What's a strong? If let's say you have 2 Spurs players, Emile Smith-Rowe could be the first sub. Who would be your second?
Well, I mean, you could go for like a Newcastle defender or something. There are cheap players with good fixtures, but it's obviously getting a Yedlin instead of Son's not exactly a nice trade, is it?
Yeah, I mean, you could get a Yedlin if it boiled down to it. I wouldn't choose to have him. I mean, I do have Tyrick Mitchell sitting there who does play against Arsenal, as I was saying earlier. If it really comes down to it, he could be just the Band-Aid player you need, that one pointer. Who knows? I don't think there's any better sort of basement bargain players that you can get that will actually play. I mean, there's a few 4.5s that will play, but they will get like 2 points max.
Okay,
so if we don't know for sure, sorry, just to finish the thought, I think I'll probably go with just one of Kane and Son, because if they don't play, it's all well and good having a playing bench, but as I'm saying, Yedlin or whoever, or Mitchell, or even Smith-Rowe, they're not Son and Kane in terms of points potential, reliable anyway. And it's your free hit, you get one chance at it. And if both of those didn't play, it would be a big blow. And if that game did happen, then Villa are still okay defensively, aren't they? So I guess I'd go with one rather than both. But hopefully we know for sure beforehand, because that's going to make things a bit easier.
Yeah, we've only got 3 days. Oh gosh. Okay. So let's talk composition real quick. Because it seems like we're agreeing on 90% of the teams that we're backing. So if we get 2 Spurs, Bruno Fernandes, 2 Newcastle, so that's 5, 3 Arsenal, so that's 8. I'm missing
3 City. There you go. You're done.
Oh, 3, yeah, and 2 City, right? Yeah, 2 City or 3 City, and you're done. So basically, we've got like 10 players picked, and I feel that the only missing piece of the puzzle is the 4th midfield slot. Right now, if your midfield is De Bruyne, Son, Bruno Fernandes, and presumably one of the Arsenal midfielders, who would your last midfielder be? Because we've got good candidates. Marcus Rashford.
Zaha.
We could have Zaha, yes. You could have Pedro
Even
Neto in
Eze.
there even.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I said even Eze, but yeah.
Yes, Ebe Eze. And I think, Sterling is definitely in the mix. I don't know, Grealish, a possibility.
How good has Pedro Neto been? After, our first pod, we said it was between Podence and Neto, and we all went with Podence. And Neto's obviously like the top.
That
5.
nutmeg on KDB, man. Sold us.
I backed Neto. For the record, it's on the record. I did say that Neto was going to be carrying Wolves, but he's been great. It's just so flexible. It's crazy. But it doesn't seem like it's enough, isn't it? Because Wolves aren't really scoring more than a goal a game. Besides that Brighton game.
Yeah, their forward line isn't anything special now that they've not got ROWE there.
Yeah, I feel so bad for Fabio Silva. So that heads up, not sure whether you guys caught on the news, but Wolves do have a striker on loan in Italy at the moment, Patrick Cotroni.
They recalled him.
Yeah, they recalled him, so he's going to be in the mix. Not sure about his price, but worth a look. Because Jimenez is a long way away back.
Yeah, I doubt he'll play the rest, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's something for later. Johnny is also going to be back soon.
I did read I was trying and Diego Costa as well. That'd be a huge.
I cannot imagine. I would not want Diego Costa.
Could you imagine Diego Costa and Adama Traore next to each other? Okay, who would win? Who would win the fight between Adama Traore and Diego Costa?
Diego Costa, because he'd fight dirty.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Adama Traore is so slippery, though. He's all oily.
So slippery, yeah.
Yeah, but Diego Costa, do you know what he'd do? He'd spit on him to get the element of surprise, right? And then just tackle his legs out from under him. And then when he's on the ground and all defenseless, Diego Costa would just be like kicking him and punching him. He's like, "No, stop! I've tapped out." And Diego Costa's like, "No," keeps punching him. That's I really don't like Diego Costa.
Yeah, considering the fact that he's old as well, he's like, what? It's like my age now. So, yes, he's pretty old. Might not be the same Diego Costa that scores buckets. Okay, so that's enough Wolves talk. All right, so that's free hit 18. Oh yeah, so we need a verdict. Who would you have as your fourth midfielder? Because for 1 week, Sterling is there, but he's feast or famine. But between the names mentioned, who would you guys rather have? Rashford, Neto, Grealish, Zaha, or Eze?
Neto or Saka.
I've got Rashford at the moment, but it's a toss-up between him and... It depends what formation I play, as has been spoken about. If I go with 3 strikers, then I won't go with Rashford. I'll go with Laka instead. So he's not a midfielder, so it's Lacazette or Rashford for me, basically.
Yeah. Right now, my fourth midfielder is Sterling. So
yeah, I've gone Sterling as well. Justin, who feels the most comfortable for you?
I think it'll come down to money distribution, and what other players you want to fit in. And if you can't find anyone, then put the money in Sterling. But if not, if there is someone you want, like if you want Kane and Lacazette, let's say, then you can get someone cheaper, like a Palace or Arsenal mid. It's crazy that there's like, how many teams aren't playing this week? Is it
5? I think 6.
4 games.
It has to be an even. even number. You can't,
Four
you can't
games.
have
So
one team playing against themselves.
eight teams. 8 teams not playing this week.
8 teams. Yeah. Just
Okay.
cancel the week. Give everyone a free wild card, or just give me a free wild card. I don't care about everyone else. Yeah, or just cancel FPL, because I think this season of FPL hasn't been fair.
Doesn't count.
You know, it doesn't count. Lucian, do you agree? Doesn't count this year.
This season is news.
I would like to agree with you. It's just that having played for so many seasons, we have had games that have been randomly cancelled off due to the weirdest reasons, right?
There's a difference between a game being cancelled by snow and like half the games in a week being cancelled because of a pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, as well, it's like, yeah, like you go through snow like once every 3 seasons, maybe a game in the Premier League will be cancelled due to snow. Whereas how many games are we at now that have been cancelled due to COVID? Is it like just 3 or 4? But it could get worse because things seem to be getting worse at the moment. I mean, I don't like any source of luck really in the game because I like to plan and I like to target things.
The games this week weren't postponed due to COVID.
No, they're not. But for example, the Leeds Southampton could get moved to this game week if they can't play the cup game was at risk, and then they could move things around. I mean, it's all things like that I just can't be bothered thinking about. I just want to be told, here's where the games are happening, nice and far in advance. Not let's throw City into a double game week, even though they missed that game in the first week of the season. It was like, I like to be able to plan, and COVID and other things, and because of COVID, the fixture schedule was so condensed, and also there was those game week 1 blanks indirectly due to COVID because the season schedule is all over the place. It's difficult, but everyone's going through the same thing. But the problem is, if a random game's cancelled, you know, it could be like Newcastle versus Sheffield United, and I'm not going to be that sad about it outside of my free hit team.
What I'm mildly excited about, could we see? I'm looking at teams like Spurs and Fulham and Aston Villa in particular. Could we see a triple game week later on in this season?
It's possible because everything's so condensed. If they want to get everything done before the Euros, especially if they want to leave a small break, could happen.
So I dare say it'd be worth just holding on to your triple captain for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because you could see, well, I wouldn't want it to be on Man City because even KDB's not starting 3 games in a week, I don't think.
Oh, I think KDB.
But he'd be the only choice really from City for triple captain, a triple game. You could get like Grealish or Son because Spurs have been messed around a bit at the moment.
Yeah.
Or Kane rather.
Yeah, I mean,
Bruno would start every game.
What was your last memory of a triple game week? It happened to, was it Reading, I think?
I think Chelsea were in one, weren't they?
I don't even remember when that triple game week happened.
And then they had a game, they missed game week 1, and then they had another one for the European, whatever, UEFA, whatever the Champions Cup, whatever it is. I forget what it's called.
Oh, with it, the Club World Cup. Was that it?
Yeah, Club World Cup. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see because like that KDB double game week 19 is pretty, like under normal circumstances that looks like quite a nice triple captain opportunity. Palace and Villa both at home. I think if it was any other year I might use it then, but as you say, if there's a chance of a triple game week,
but for all we know that City versus Villa game out, go ahead.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually all I wanted to bring up. Like, I wasn't gonna say that I would be excited for a triple game week because of what Todd said, right? Nobody in this season would have the physical capacity of playing 3 games in a week rather than a triple game week. So, what I'm looking forward to is teams forced to play reserve sides because they don't adhere to COVID restrictions. So like, let's say Villa right now, right? They're playing their under-23 squad against Liverpool because the first team is having COVID. So if let's say Villa cannot postpone their games any further because of scheduling, then they have to keep the games going by fielding reserve sides. I feel like that would make more interesting FPL game weeks coming up because casuals will not catch this. Casuals will be like, oh, okay, you know what, I have this thing and I'm just going to leave it there. Whereas for people who would really keep up with stuff, you know, we go like, oh, okay, like teams like Fulham and Villa and Newcastle are being hit by COVID at the moment. So, you know, suddenly from a difficult fixture, it becomes a really easy one. Or like if, oh, yeah, I almost forgot. Anyone considering Zach Steffen?
Do we know what the status of Edison is? Because if we knew he was going to play for sure, I would get him.
Yeah.
No questions asked. But I have no idea. I don't know what's going on with Edison.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Edison either.
Oh, damn it. Okay, never mind then. But yeah, basically, you know, if let's say you saw that Man City's squad is being ravaged by COVID, suddenly their fixture becomes a really easy one offensively.
Has it been 2 weeks since Edison was, you know, diagnosed?
Let's have a look. So he played last for City game week 15 because their game week 16 game was cancelled, and then he didn't play against Chelsea. 15. I don't know what date that is.
Do you think he'd be in a shot with coming back for Brighton?
Yeah, I think I would probably expect him to be back, but I would caveat that with I don't know.
It might be worth just getting the starting and then having Darlow on the bench, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, because he's 4.4.
Yeah, that could be an option.
Because Man City's backup's cheaper than Newcastle's.
Gosh.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm not dropping that.
You never let this go.
It's so weird. Man City's backups are 4.4, 4.5, 4.0, 4.0. Newcastle's 5.0. It's like they knew. They're like, this Darlow lad, big year. He's played well, to be fair to him. But yeah, it's just odd pricing for me.
Was Dubravka injured before FPL went live, or was it after?
It was pre-season, but after the prices went live, because I in the first pre-season pod or something, I mocked the price, and then he's played every game of the season.
Did Darlow play? Was it last year he was playing as well? Or was it 2 years?
Nope. Played 0 minutes the previous 2 seasons.
Wow.
He's 5.0.
Well, just mugged us off entirely with Darlow this year.
He's fucking. He should have been 4.5 at most, which would have been brilliant for FPL, having that 4.5 keeper. He's got 61 points, which is okay. It's not amazing, but it's, you know, for the saving. I don't know, maybe we would have still had Martinez, to be fair, because he started off at 4.5 as well. But it's another option, isn't it? But at 5.0, why would I don't know why you would.
It's like the price setters from the future, man.
Have we discussed captaincy this week? Because I was thinking about it when we were talking about what would we do if Villa, we knew they were going to have to play the kids. Because then surely you'd want a captain Kane or Son.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I've got it under BRUYNE.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got De Bruyne as well.
The case for Bruno, I guess, away at Burnley. I mean, he's blanked once in an away fixture ever in FPL.
I don't know, man. There's something about Burnley that just... Something about Man United and Burnley that always just strikes... Yeah. You know, Burnley are giving them a tough game. They always
Burnley are getting their Burnley-ness back as well, aren't they? A bit.
A bit.
Yeah. No, like, since game week 12, they've clean sheet, conceded one, clean sheet. So conceded 2 goals in 5 game weeks. That is Burnley-ness.
Burnley can somehow, like... They only can somehow be that team that looks terrible for 90 minutes, but only concedes 1 goal and draws 1-1.
Yeah, so
Burnley.
maybe I wouldn't captain Bruno, but he is a player to captain. It turns out he could well be an auto captain if you really were wanting to take the thought process out.
Yeah, I can't look past De Bruyne at the moment, especially after what he did against Chelsea. You gotta have him. I just cannot. I think Fionn would probably be the only guy who would advocate for a Sterling captain.
Can I just say how bad Chelsea looked in that game? They looked absolutely
really bad.
Really
bad.
Okay, speaking of Chelsea, let's segue into game week 19. That's probably because I don't think we'll get a pod in before game week 19. So let's talk double game week because it's crazy. Where do we start? Okay.
I just don't know how to plan for all this. Like it's so up in the air. Hopefully, because what happens? What happens if you have a double game week and your game gets cancelled? Do you have like a quadruple? Does it like stack? It's exponential.
Well, you've got to play the fixtures, haven't you, at some point?
You know what? We should just play all 38 games in 1 week.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be crazy. We've not had that for a while.
That would basically just be like a set and forget team. Just choose one. That's what we should. Yeah.
We might have a game week 39. Remember when Man United had their final game of the season postponed due to that bomb scare? They made a game week 39 just for Man United Bournemouth.
Wasn't it a shit game as well? After all that.
Yeah, it was a shit game. I think he finished like 1-0. Some random guy scored.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I can't be bothered with this planning when things change so much. Like,
okay,
plan for a double game, but you need to plan long term, don't you? And if like the City game got moved into it,
so majority of us would have been planning this long term, and all of us, since we're on free hit, theoretically, we would only have 1 free transfer after the free hit. So, let me just ask you guys. First start, how many double game week players do you have now, like before the free hit?
Let me just
11.
11? Todd, really? 11?
Yeah, well, the fact that Villa now have a double game week finished my team, but I don't have any City players anymore because I dropped them ahead of the double game week. And they also, we have to bear in mind, pre the Chelsea game, they looked pretty poor. But they looked great against Chelsea, and I thought the comfortable better side against Manchester United as well. So, and now they've got a double game week, which is also the best double game week in my opinion, and also great fixtures after. So now I'm gonna probably take a hit for 2 of them.
Okay, best in the Senate. Justin, how many do you have doubles?
I don't know.
I can probably check.
I'll count for you.
I can't keep track anymore. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
I've got a.
I'll check for you. Okay.
May assist.
So he's got Melier. He's got 2 Liverpool defenders. He's got Dallas.
Got 9, including Mendy.
Yeah, 9 plus Mendy.
Yeah.
Well, actually 10 because both keepers.
I'm so upset with Ben Mendy. By the way, starts like 2 or 3 games. I'm like, oh, here we go. Good little.
Boys are back.
Do you know what the problem is? I've been speaking to Keeds and Lucy too much. They're like, you need.
I do not recommend Ben Mendy.
You need differentials to get a high ranking.
Yeah, differentials have gotten better recently. Lewis Dunk.
Hey, template Todd has sailed up the ranks.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's go.
It's all about the template. They're template for a reason. They're template because they're good. It's like, no, you need differentials. So I'm like, fine, I'll get him Ben Mendy because his started games, he looked good the 2 or 3 years ago whenever he was actually playing and fit. Doesn't start a game since then. And then I'm like, oh, Carl Walker's got the virus. Maybe we'll start Cancelo at right back and put Mendy at left back. No, we start Zinchenko. Fucking De Bruyne lookalike. So the moral of this rant is: do not listen to Keeds and Lucian, and always listen to Todd unless it's about lead strikers.
Yeah, don't know anything about
Wait,
lead
before
strikers.
lead strikers, who do you listen to? Oh,
Everyone, just do the opposite of what I say.
Bielsa, because like Bielsa just tells you everything about Leeds players. He's like, do you want to know our lineup? Here you go. Do you want to know our tactics? Sure. Do you want to know all our players' weaknesses? Yeah, we can tell you. I don't care.
The fans that have
in the press conference he did a few days ago, one of the journalists was asking him about like potential lineup. He's like, please don't ask me because then I'll have to tell you. he's just like, do you know who he is? Have you ever seen the second Austin Powers movie? And like there was that guy who was like, if you asked him a question 3 times, he had to tell you the truth.
Ah, great referencing.
That's Bielsa. Yeah, if you just ask him if you just ask him about the lineup, he has to tell you. He just hates being asked about it. So that's who I listen to for my lead striker information.
yeah. Well, I'm also on 11 double game week, but I have Shea Adams, and Ademola Lookman, who feel like duds to me. So I don't know. Yeah, it looks like all of us are either on 10 or 11 double game week players already.
I have 12.
So
Includes Fraser Forster. So I don't know if he's in play.
yeah. So I think the first question we really got to ask ourselves isn't about composition. It's about chips. Are you guys going to use any chips this double game week? Bench boost is definitely out of the question because of all the question marks on the games. But triple captain, are you guys interested?
I'm really torn.
I'm tempted to just hold off for now.
The allure of a triple game week is there, but I would say De Bruyne 2 home games is pretty hard to ignore.
Yeah, I'm looking at that as well. Oh, triple De Bruyne.
Decent home games as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those where let's see how they look against Brighton, because playing Chelsea and United is very different to playing Brighton. Playing Brighton is probably quite similar to playing Palace, and Villa are probably a bit better than both of those two at the moment. So we'll see.
Any other triple captain game? Any triple captain potential picks? Bruno? Are we looking at Bruno since Liverpool aren't that
2 away games, and he's really consistent away from home. But what triple captain someone who's playing at Anfield just feels wrong. Especially when you've got someone like De Bruyne around. I mean, Salah, I guess, is another tempter. 2 home games. I think he averages more than a goal or assist per game at home, doesn't he? So Salah or De Bruyne, isn't it? Basically, maybe Bruno if you're an absolute maniac.
Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, probably out of those 2. It's hard to see anyone else, really being viable.
Okay. Next question. Is there any case of fielding a Spurs player since they play Sheffield United? Like
in 19.
Yeah, would you guys be happy fielding, let's say, Son or Kane? Because I'm turning Kane into Vardy, for the record, for my Game Week 19 transfer.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to have Son for it.
I couldn't understand why everyone was going Kane to Vardy. Like, Kane's got just as good as fixture, and he could definitely outscore Vardy. I mean, yeah, Vardy's good, but Is he worth using a free transfer? I don't think so.
I mean, I've got Vardy, and I couldn't afford Kane at the time, but maybe I could have done if I'd have wanted to. I think the main reason I like Vardy is I think the double game week games he's got are both pretty good games for Jamie Vardy, i.e. Southampton and Chelsea, I think aren't just going to sit with low blocks, and there should be some space there. And then afterwards, he's got Leeds and Fulham in his next three, where Spurs play Liverpool and Chelsea in their next three. It turns out Chelsea may not be that bad a game, but Liverpool and Chelsea harder, I think, fixtures after. But yeah, I've got Son at the moment for the double game week. I think Son away at Sheffield United is fine, but I might use him to get KDB. It depends what I want to do there, to be honest, because I've got to get KDB. I've made that decision. It's just whether I use Son, Salah, Vardy, one of them.
Yeah, that's my plan as well. I'm looking at turning Kane to Vardy so that I might upgrade Son into KDB because I don't own KDB. That's my biggest problem right now. It's very, very difficult to own KDB for me. I don't know about you guys. Like, I know Justin has KDB. Keith, do you have KDB?
Not right now, no.
So how are you going to get him in?
No idea.
I'll sacrifice anyone for him, to be honest, in 19.
Let me see who I have.
Well, yeah.
Right now, the way I've been building my team over the last few weeks is that I've got my 5 midfielders who all have double game weeks. But now they've just shoehorned City into the mix. So now I kind of have to sacrifice one of them. So let me tell you who I've got. My midfield 5 is, Salah, Bruno, James Maddison, Rafinha from Leeds, and James Ward-Prowse. So I'm thinking Ward-Prowse would be the one to go, I think.
How much money have you got in the bank, or who are you going to sacrifice to get the money?
5 million.
I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, over those, Ward-Prowse is probably the weakest pick for the double game week. It's just, obviously, you then have to drop someone like, I don't know, who you've got up front, maybe Kane if you've got him.
Maybe.
But, yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to drop. I'm considering dropping Salah, so it's easier, but also considering dropping Son for it because, to me, I just can't go without KDB for the next few games. Like in a row, he's got Brighton at home, Palace at home, Villa at home, West Brom away, Sheffield United at home, Burnley away. That's just ridiculous. My plan all along was to get him back in after the double game week because he didn't have a double game week and City weren't scoring as many goals. Now he's got a double game week. I want him immediately back, which is frustrating, but it is what it is.
Are we ignoring the fact that Salah is shit right now?
Was that Salah's shit?
Are we ignoring the fact that Salah is shit in the league right now?
Yeah, I mean, 3 blanks in a row against teams that you'd hope he'd get something against is disappointing.
Yeah, he was the most captained for 3 weeks in a row, and he got the first time ever, 3 blanks in a row. That was incredible.
So is he a trap?
It's not a trap.
Yeah, I don't think you can call him a trap.
But
I think why I might sacrifice him is the fixtures as well as the form.
For De Bruyne, would that be a viable pick? For this game week at least. Like I know Salah's got a double game week as well, but he's got, Man United and Burnley, whereas City have, I forget who they have against, Villa and someone else.
Palace and Villa, both home. It's the fixtures after for me that really separates them. Because
the only thing that's
2 home games for Salah.
The only thing that's worrying me is that it's a possibility of that City Villa game being called off again.
It seems, I don't know, I think unless there's another outbreak, especially because both clubs have been impacted by COVID, it's possible that one club might have to pull out. It's in 11 days that game. So the current situation, I feel very confident that's going to be finished with by the 20th of January. But you don't know, do you? Because, the whole of Villa's first team is currently isolating. City have had what feels like a case every few weeks without fail. They're both two of the clubs that have been having the more issues. But at the moment, I think it should be fine. But
if they're all currently isolating, you would think that maybe, I don't know, if they're not training as a team, something like that. If they're not given a proper prepare for the game, I don't know the whole politics behind it, but yeah,
it's just a shit show at the end of the day. At the moment, it's all over the place. It's so hard to follow because the fixtures seem to move a lot. And things are just cancelled randomly, and they've got to find a spot for them. And it's not an easy position for them to be in terms of trying to organise all these games in an already shortened season.
Yeah.
Actually, now that we've discussed it this much, I agree with Justin. We should just cancel FPL this season. It's really not worth it. It's really not worth it.
Get it cancelled. Let's play fantasy netball. Let's go.
But it is also ridiculous because, like, Aston Villa not only had their game cancelled and don't know when they're going to play it again. Again, it's not the first time this season. But they can't train. So, like, so they're going to come back. They're not going to be match sharp. It's not very integrity. This is good English for me. It's the integrity of the league is not looking fantastic. Like, how can you expect them to be? Because the Premier League is so competitive and it's such fine margins. Like, besides, just look how close the table is. And so for a team to not be able to train and then to have games in compact time periods and all that, it's just, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. It's not like the Premier League are doing it on purpose or whatever. And I don't know if it's the Villa's players' fault for not following protocol. Still a situation where, like, how do you expect these players to be professional? So, all that being said, cancel the league. Well, not the league, just cancel Fantasy Premier League. Keep the league if you want.
Yeah.
Keep the league unless Man United or Tottenham win. Then you should cancel the league.
Yeah, I guess Man United at the moment would win if it was stopped because they've got the most points per game, haven't they? Which is weird. I thought they'd actually struggle to make top four this season, to be honest, given that they still didn't get a right winger. Well, sorry, they signed the best right winger in the world, but he's just arrived. I genuinely think it's getting to the stage where you might have to just forfeit games if you can't play them. Because
I would agree.
There's so few spaces in the calendar.
Reload style, like if you can't field 3 subs.
Yeah, like City, where are you going to fit that? Because they're going to go somewhat deep in the Champions League, you'd think at least. They're already in the League Cup final. They're probably going to go deep into the FA Cup. Where are they going to play all the... They've got, 1 or 2 spare games to play. Where are they going to fit it in? And then, was it against Everton their game was cancelled? It's like, well, and it's because... Well, like, for example, in the Spurs players' case, like Lamela had that party or whatever on New Year's Eve, and then they brought COVID cases into Spurs. And like that completely fucks the scheduling if they had to cancel their game, and Fulham had to cancel the game, and Burnley have now got a situation. It's just if you want to get the season done before the Euros, or because the season can't be extended if they want to do that, then where are you going to put the games? And if it's at the end of the day, if everyone at the club was doing the right things, it's very unlikely that they would have COVID outbreaks. So therefore, there's a bit of a fault there on someone at the clubs, potentially. I guess you don't know in every case. Things do happen. and it's probably a bit harsh of me, but at some stage they might have to think about, listen, if Man City, you can't play 6 spare games, you just can't do it, so you're gonna have to cancel one of these games. I don't know what we do FPL wise on that. That'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Or
just,
they should just field their reserves, right? Just force them to field their reserves like Villa have.
Yeah, all that. But if you can't even do that, then that's when I'd go into the, because you can bet you anything they would play the reserves if it was that or lose points.
Their reserves are so strong anyway. It's crazy.
yeah, that's the thing though. Like it's easy to say let's play your reserves, but for a team like City versus a team like Aston Villa to play their reserves, it's like
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's tricky. It is tricky.
How long will it take until the FA start actually giving out like punishments to players like Lo Celso and Lamella and Grealish and that who are like blatantly disobeying the rules and bringing COVID into like their teams?
Yeah, I mean, I feel sorry for some of the. There must be some cases where people are doing the right things, but maybe a child or something has picked it up. Yeah. But like, Villa's, I mean, Grealish has been out so many times. It feels like doing weird shit.
Yeah. The only way FPL can go on is that you merge the remaining games into a giant game week. That's it. Leave it.
Okay. Can we move on from this topic? Because I've got a topic I would like to talk about.
Yes, let's do that.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I would like to share with you this table. I didn't want to show you the table. I just want to show you. Here we go. This is the table. So this is the XG table for the Premier League provided by Understat. So one of the talking points recently is Manchester United, obviously in second, same on point with Liverpool with the game in hand. But what I wanted to show you here is this is the XG X goals assists, so expected goals, expected assists, and expected points.
Isn't GA allowed?
Yes, goals against.
Sorry, expected goals
conceded.
So not assists. Well, I wanted to show this in particular. So if a team has green, that means that it's higher than expected, and red means it's lower than expected. So what I just want to show is that Liverpool are only 0.75 expected points higher than, lower. Sorry.
Yeah, lower.
And again,
Higher.
No, they're higher. They're only 0.75 actual points higher than their expected points. So they're pretty close. Man United are 6.3 expected points. Sorry, 6.3 actual points higher than their expected points. So they're actually 2 wins ahead of where they're expected to be. So they're massively outperforming. Say Leicester and Tottenham also. Man City, interestingly, are quite behind. And Southampton and Everton way ahead. And then the one that's really interesting to me, Chelsea, which I didn't.
That surprised me that they've got a higher expected points than City. Obviously, they've played more games, but I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, so what's really interesting is if you sort the table by obviously expected points isn't actual points, Chelsea are actually second on expected points. And then, but if you go all the way down, Manchester United are, what's that? Is that 6th? Manchester United is 6th, Arsenal 8th, Tottenham 9th.
Brighton.
Yeah, look how
Tottenham have been crazy clinical, haven't they, though?
17th. So it's just so funny. So Brighton is 17th, and they have a higher expected points than Tottenham, who are 4th, and Everton. Look at Everton and Southampton, who are 6th and 7th. Look how low they are.
Crazy. Oh, look at Sheffield United.
Oh, unfortunately, they're expected to be on 15. They're on 2.
That's still better than where they are.
Yeah. So obviously, expected points isn't everything, but that it's still sort of, this is what this is what I was saying about Tottenham earlier when Tottenham were doing really well. I'm like, they were winning games by 1 goal. You know, they were just sitting back and not attacking. And I think the same sort of thing is happening right now with Manchester United, where they're getting a lot of penalties. They're outperforming their stats. So here, Aston Villa, and Wolves have done better. So maybe the past few games they're getting unlucky actually. But what I'm trying to, if you look at
over the season, I think that
yeah,
makes sense to me in terms of when I've watched them, especially the first half of the season. So the first quarter of the overall season, I didn't think they played particularly well. I think they've been better through December, but certainly earlier.
So they've conceded basically. They've scored 3 more goals than they've expected, and they've conceded 2 less goals than they've been expected. So that is a fairly sizable amount for half a season. And as you can see, Bruno is responsible for a lot of that. And it actually shows as well Martial's been unlucky. But and Rashford with his assists. So whether or not, Manchester United can sustain this sort of thing, I don't know. Oh, the game state issue. Also, sorry to go on about this. I just find it interesting. I'm sure if you look at Tottenham's game states, it would be very interesting. Yeah, how much this one here, I think, is the interesting one. So goal different when they're winning by got more than 1 goal, they really pile on the goals. And also the other one is when they're drawing, right? Because Mourinho likes to sit back so much and just counter-attack. You get a lot of the situations where they're drawing and they just go for the 1-0s, which is why their expected goals and assists is so high in this situation. Anyway, so that's what I want to talk about. If anyone else has something they would like to look at from this website, it's a very nice website to look at. But that was the main.
Interesting to see what's sort of causing Chelsea to be quite far behind their points expected, I guess.
Yeah, well,
I know Werner recently he's been missing some pretty good chances.
Also interested
Probably will help.
XG chances and kind of Sheffield in that are, because are they just unlucky or they just?
I think their strikers are just terrible.
By the way, look at this Arsenal game's hilarious. To be fair, that 1 goal they got was like a tap in, so it's probably very high XG. But this Leeds game, they killed them. To be fair, Wolves they won, which it looks like they never should have won that game. Do you remember? Oh no, that was away. Wolves never should have won that game. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
Was it
No, yeah, I do remember that game.
Yeah, I think Neto scored last minute.
No, that one was Chelsea.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Chelsea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one. Well, Wolves are a weird side at the moment because of that Jimenez injury. So I don't even want to look at the XG because the team morphed so much across the season. So the XG, you need to split it into before the injury and after the injury. So yeah,
so it looks
I think the XG for certain teams, but not all.
Yeah, it's looking like a lot of the blame's on old mate Ollie McBurney. Who's that? Who's McBurney?
It's
Not me, or if me or Fionn.
That's Todd, I think. Yeah, that's Todd.
Come on, Todd, lift your game. It doesn't help. Brewster's not doing great.
Jaden Bogle's doing the business though. Look at him. Scored again today.
Jaden, yep. Good job, Jaden. Keep up the good work.
Listen, Brewster's played 1 game and he's already got higher XG than Brewster in 10 games.
also, if we look at so you'll talk about Salah, who is the top. Were you saying Salah was bad, even though he's been his?
Can
top?
you filter last 3 games? Change the
I
filter the last 3 games.
can. All games.
Or 5. Make it 5. Make it fair. 5 games then.
Three's fine because that's when he's blanked for the 3, I guess.
can do
In
5
really
games.
easy games.
Past 5 games, you've got Rashford's piling in the goal. So Rashford's been overperforming. Has anyone been underperforming? Not really. Giroud's been just about bang on. Maybe
Where's Mo Salah? Where is Mo Salah?
Sort by XG90 maybe, and so we can see who's getting all the chances and see who's taking them and who's not.
And
Oh, Valerie!
Yeah,
Oh,
No,
no.
you've got to filter out.
We need to
you've
add
got
minimum
filter-
minutes, don't we? Oh, look at Lacazette though. He's there.
and
You
to
can
You've
put
got
a
like
minimum.
373, 460, 458, 3. Yeah.
Justin, you can put a minimum on the minutes using that. Yes, so minimum 200 minutes.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's fine.
Yeah. So you see, like Cavani up there. So this is just last 5 games. Giroud. Oh, Ghazi, surprising. He has been in form. And so we've been talking a lot about City assets, Sterling and De Bruyne, but Riyad Mahrez has
Getting the chance. He's getting.
I do not dare.
been
I do not dare.
not to
Fire
get.
it.
He's probably been worth an assist or two, been unlucky not to get those.
Good old Bamford getting the chances.
Yeah.
Actually underperformed there. Who'd have thought that? Should have got another goal at least.
Oh, look, Paddy. So Patrick, he has not been lucky with his goals. He has earned all of his goals.
He was overperforming until the last few weeks. I think he's underperformed the last few. I don't know if we can scroll down and see his last few games.
Look at that. So cool. Shot types.
Yeah, let's have a look at his last few games. I'm sure he was overperforming at one stage, and now he's just at the bottom of the. Just keep scrolling.
You scroll down to see his individual games.
Yeah, so he didn't get a goal against Spurs. Or West Brom, and he had a pretty high XG in both of those games. His goal against Burnley was that pen, wasn't it?
To put this
he should have scored against United.
To put this in comparison, a penalty is worth 0.8. So, like having 0.72, let's say, is like basically a penalty. Or 0, even here.
I mean, he definitely gets chances, though. Look at all those XGs for his price are good. It's just against Arsenal, not scoring is disappointing.
Oh, the other one we should look at, very small sample size, if I can search. I can't search. I have to scroll all the way down to so I've sort of taken over the pod. Not on purpose. If I can find him. Let's look at our boy EMILE. If we can just look at... Oh, it's not going to tell me what I...
Oh, that assist. Wow.
Yeah. So... It's I want to see his. This is what I wanted to show you. His build up and chain per 90. So he's getting, these are like an XG chain. I'm pretty sure is. I don't know how to describe it. It's including like pre-assists, and stuff. So if you're involved in the build up in the critical play of a goal, that's XG chain. And I think I don't know what the difference between chain and build up is, but he is, as you can see, very highly rated in these areas. He hasn't been taking many shots, even though he scored today. But in his build up, he is just everything at the moment. I mean, these stats, as you can tell, are very high on the octagon.
Can you compare that against Bukayo Saka? There's a compare button on the left.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Do you know who I
It's a lot fewer minutes, I guess. But yeah, that is. I mean, it's impressive.
compare that to? This is Jack Grealish. Just it is a lot fewer minutes. Who else is a good? Let's compare him to like. This will be interesting.
You should filter on this season as well, because that'll probably include when Villa got relegated.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Oh, sorry. This is De Bruyne's. Oh, wait. That's De Bruyne.
It's telling me KDB quite good at football.
Just look how good
Turns out.
KDB is. This is what makes KDB so good, is that he gets the goals as well.
Yeah. Smith Rowe's better at assisting than De Bruyne.
Look at Saka.
Great pod, guys.
Shut it down. We've conclusions made.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's just a few stats I wanted to share because I thought it's pertinent. Now everyone can comment in the WhatsApp chat afterwards. It's like, oh, Justin hates Man United, and you know what? Maybe I do.
No,
Okay.
I don't hate Man
I hate them
United.
as much as you do.
I just think them saying they're going to win the league is a bit premature. I still think.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be in a title race in a few months' time.
No.
But I think they're playing. I think they're playing better at the moment. They're overperforming at the moment, which makes sense because they're in good form. If Fion was here, he'd say that doesn't exist, but I'd say they're in good form.
well, I think they'll still be in the title race or thereabouts. But yeah, you're right. They are getting a bit ahead of themselves because they haven't had any games cancelled, well, apart from that first game week. Whereas, teams like Man City have had games cancelled. Tottenham have had games cancelled. Liverpool have not had games cancelled, but they're sort of on the up, on the down. Who knows what's going on with them? So yeah, it's still up in the air.
I mean, it could happen. They could still be in the race.
And
I just think
Arsenal are only like
it's going to be City or Liverpool.
Arsenal, we're coming for it. We're not losing another game. In fact, we're winning every game for the rest of the season. We're going to go on.
only like 6 points off the top 4.
Yeah, 20-game win streak. Easy.
Yeah, I would like to see a side just have some sort of streak. I think that's the most frustrating thing about this season is that no team has gone on a streak yet. For some weird reason.
Well, United are currently on a streak. That's what I'm talking about. They're playing well recently in terms of FPL point scoring on Bruno and in terms of them. Like if you go back to after they got battered by Spurs.
So,
especially after the Arsenal defeat,
so
it's been all good.
These are the points, and you can just sort of see. Look at so this is Liverpool at the top. Look how flatlined they've been the past few weeks. So they've
I mean they got what 2 points from 3 pretty good games, was it?
Yeah, they've gone from 31 to 33. And then Man United, I mean, they're starting down here, and look how they've just climbed and climbed and climbed. But look how behind some teams are. I mean, yeah, some teams are already 2 games behind. And it could be even more.
Other than that hot pick spike by Arsenal there.
Yeah. Also, how sad are poor little Sheffield. It's so sad. It's such a huge spike when they get 1 point.
They've been unlucky, but there's luck, and then there's just their strikers. I just don't think they're very good.
Where's Everton? Look at this. Is this Everton? This one? Yeah. Look at Everton.
Yeah.
They start off super strong, and then they just.
Oh yeah, and then there are the penalties. Let's not forget, Man United are also floated up by penalties.
Well, Leicester have more penalties, and I think Bruno scored as many as Salah. So they've had a good number, but I don't think.
But people remember.
I think it's a bit of a lazy argument.
It's about the way United have earned those penalties because people can remember the Pogba flops, and how
has he flopped this season? I mean, I think people are hanging on to last season where they got an absolutely absurd number in a short space of time. This season they've had as many as a lot of other teams. I think.
Liverpool at home.
Yes.
That's
But
right.
yeah, strange thing about Man United is that I think they're on like 8 wins out of 10 in the league, and they've lost like pretty much everything else.
Yeah. Did we realize Leicester was such a good away team?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vardy's away
yeah.
record.
The way they set up is good for being away. I think because even teams that normally play with a low block come out a bit more at their own ground.
I remember a few weeks ago they were saying that Vardy had yet to score at home all season, and he yet had like 8 goals away from home.
Yeah. Also, look at Man United away from home. They're just climbing.
Yeah, it was the same thing as well. Like Bruno's away record is unreal.
Yeah, United. Was it until the Leicester game they'd won like the last however many away games in a row?
Yeah, well, you can see it looks like they've won 69.
Yeah, they drew to Leicester. That was a late Vardy goal, wasn't it? Or was that away?
The Man United away games have been so dodgy.
Yeah, Axel Tuanzebe own goal.
Oh yeah, it was an own goal, wasn't it?
84th minute.
I don't know. I always think that whatever you say, the points table doesn't lie. I mean, you can get lucky, you can get unlucky.
Oh, well, look at this. So they created nothing. Like in the 89th minute, they had 0.43 XG.
Yeah, I mean, United should have won that game. They didn't take enough chances, and then they conceded a late own goal.
Yeah. Nah, United were crushing it. Oh, to be fair, I don't know if own goals count to XG. That might be part of it.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it goes up much there, does it? But yeah, I don't know. I do still think that over the remainder of the season, it's going to be City and Liverpool in the final straight for the title chase. But pre-season, I did think United would struggle more this season, and at the start they kind of did, but since the last month or two they've been the form team in the league. You could argue City now looking like they're waking up a bit. I don't know what's happening with Aguero because I swear he's been on the bench for a load of games but hasn't started.
Honestly, this is all about COVID handling, because we all know that COVID affects the way you train, your fitness levels. I'm not sure whether you guys saw this article mentioning how TAA actually had COVID pre-season, and that affected his fitness levels later into the season, and that's why he's been so subpar so far.
Yeah, I think I heard similar said about Pogba. Or he said he had an article where he was saying he felt drained even into the season after he'd got COVID negative.
That's
I mean, it's
the thing now, though, isn't it? As soon as some player starts underperforming, the excuse
it is an easy excuse, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cop out, isn't it?
But yeah, COVID does leave respiratory fatigue after you recover from it. That one's a known fact. Like, you could see, like, let's say, I don't know whether you guys watched the Salah against Southampton game. Like, he looked so labored. It was so bad. And, like, I think, remember when City won 2-0 against Newcastle, and then De Bruyne had that 1v1 chance, right? Where he broke through.
Yeah.
And, like, any other day, you'd bank him on, like, doing anything to score, but the moment he had that touch and he was one-on-one with the keeper, the way he ran onto that ball, he was so slow and so tired by the time he got there. I don't know, man. I think, the fitness is really starting to get to a lot of the players, and basically the fittest team will be in the title race at the end of it. So whoever that has the least players that get hit by COVID, I feel will be in the title race. We won't know that now, but that's what I would predict, basically, like in March. So for me, I don't think City would be in the race purely because they've had a few outbreaks already. At least that's my opinion.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, if that could be a big factor, but I do think I don't know, because like I was saying earlier, they played it really well against Chelsea, but Chelsea were horrible. But how much of that was because City were great? And then I thought again they outplayed Man United pretty comfortably, but they were struggling to create in the games immediately before that, and I'm wondering, how much of that is because Chelsea and Manchester United both came forward, or how much of that is because City have found their groove a little bit now. Because a couple of weeks ago, I would have said there was no way they'd be in the title race because I thought everything looked really laboured and slow, and they weren't creating a lot. And they've still only scored. They've played fewer games, but they've still only scored 24 goals, which for City is just incredibly low. West Ham have scored 24. Leeds have scored 30. How many have Arsenal scored? Oh, only 20. But you get my point. Palace have scored 22. Brighton have scored 21. So these are numbers not too dissimilar to City's, and they're usually, like in previous seasons, have they not scored like 100 goals or something silly? So
I'm sure they did.
Okay, so I think we can actually end on that note. Yeah, so we'll definitely catch up after the double game week is done. But for now, yeah, just keep up to date as much as you can with COVID news, and yeah, we'll see you after the double game week is done. So,
yep.
Keith, you there?
I'm here. I'm awake.
Yeah.
So yeah, that concludes our podcast for today. Our stock is rising, so watch the space. And good luck, everybody. Then it will rise.